Chances are you have died a bunch in Apex Legends, but that doesn't mean you are a bad player. I mean, it may just mean that something small is holding you back from being the great player that you can be, which is why today we are going to talk about the 5 worst mistakes I believe you can make in Apex Legends as a player, as a beginner, even as an intermediate or an advanced player that will hold you back, will basically push your ceiling down for your potential and the ability for you to have success. Let's imagine a rocket ship going into space gets a calculation wrong on liftoff. That could mean not only the ship goes down in flames, but the people inside. Mistakes do sometimes affect the bigger outcome, and so let's try to avoid those and try to at least get some eyes on the common mistakes that we're all making and how to improve. All right, the first mistake you may be making in Apex Legends is being too overconfident or not playing around the enemy's best case scenario. I mean, does Zarya have her ult or does she not? If you've played Overwatch or any other hero shooter, you'll know that ults are a huge part of that game, and although ults are big in Apex Legends, more of the impact of that decision is what should drive your play in this game. If she has her ult, you may be a little bit less aggressive. You may be more passive, try to bait it out. You may give them the benefit of the doubt and not rush in. But if she doesn't have her ult, maybe she just used it in the team fight before, you may dive her, you may push, you may say now it's time to be aggressive. In Apex Legends, players often do not do this. We don't consider these moments that could go really bad for us. We kind of like to look at the positive, and that's a really cool thing, especially in life. You want to look at those moments where this could be great for me, but you also need to bring in a little bit of hesitancy and a little bit of awareness that sometimes things will not only go wrong for you, but they will go good for the enemy team. The best way to do this is to say, what do they have? It's a Bangalore, it's a Wraith. Do they have Portal available? Do they have smoke? Do they have their ults left? Is there a lifeline in the back? Where's the third teammate? If I can address every single situation and then say, okay, what is their potential to actually win this fight? Did I burst shields on a Wraith or did I burst it on a lifeline? And can she heal up while I'm traveling to go push her? And now she has full shield when I thought she might not. If you can give credence to those little things and give like the benefit of the doubt, right? That team is going to do everything they can to make this as hard as possible for you. You will play your situation smarter. You won't dive in without checking the corners of a room and get shot in the back. These are things that happen to me on the daily when I'm a little bit too overconfident, and it's one of the worst mistakes you can make in Apex Legends. Players being too overconfident and not considering the win conditions of their enemies is one of the biggest ways they die early and often in Apex Legends, and if you can stop this mistake, you will become a much better player. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, to the next mistake I want to talk about, and that is getting jebaited or not using downed players as bait. Now, this is a very common thing I see, and I want to show a clip here of about a couple of minutes of me absolutely doing what I hope to see you guys do in the future, which is knowing that when you have a player down, you need to use them as information or as a bait to get the other players on their team to come pouring in, giving you free and easy kills. You could actually call this fake thirsting, because here's my mentality when I get a downed player. When a player gets down in Apex Legends, you know that they have teammates around. Most likely in the early game, it's not because they have a legendary knockdown shield, which is the other reason a solo player whose teammates are dead wouldn't die immediately. What you need to do at that point is know that if you're in a situation like that with your buddies, what are you saying if you get down and some player who downed you is staring at you with a gun? You're saying, bro, he's about to finish me. Yo, he's right here. Come get him. He's looking at me. Which means that if you pretend to be that idiot who is trying to thirst somebody else, and no offense, I mean, I thirst sometimes too, but I'm just saying, if you pretend to be the guy that, you know, is getting talked about in those comms, and they're saying he's being an idiot, he's looking at me only, come shoot him in the back. If you pretend to do that, you will see players just show up out of the woodwork. I mean, they will Pathfinder grapple from the sky. They will appear from the smoke like a magician, like you were watching that Hugh Jackman movie. What is it? What the hell is that movie called? It's called The Prestige. Damn it! It's called The Prestige. My bad. But the idea around it is the same. He's gonna show up out of nowhere because these people will think that you are completely unaware that someone else is approaching to now finish you and save their teammate, but you're not. You know that's exactly what's happening. You know their teammate's somewhere. That's why they're down. You know that when you're shooting them, they're probably gonna ping and talk and chat and scream, "Come save me!" And when you know that, you could just set it up, baby. It's one huge bait, a master bait, so to speak, that allows you to get the first shot on another enemy, versus if you just down that player, thirst them, kill them, then you have no information. That person now has another minute and a half before they have to show up to you. And this is a really important thing. If you can manipulate not one, but two, but maybe 3 people into the same scenario, your kills will flow immensely in the early game. I just see so many people forget that that teammate is coming because you are shooting at their teammate on the ground. Just remember that you could manipulate this situation, shoot their teammate a little bit, don't even try to thirst them, just poke them. They'll start screaming, they'll start shouting, like clockwork, the other teammates will show up. I guarantee it, and that will allow you to get the first shot, whereas in other situations where you're just not focused or you don't see them or they don't have to come at a certain window, you might get surprised on, you might lose your own advantage. In general, it's usually good to keep those players alive and use them as bait, but sometimes you may need to kill someone in order to get their shield, get their weapons, because you're running out of ammo or you don't have enough health. Totally cool, use your own judgment, but in general, this is a really good practice that will net you more kills, I guarantee it. Moving on to the number 3 mistake that we're going to talk about in this video, and it is not having diversity in your legend choice, essentially being a Wraith or a Lifeline main, etc. Now, if you like playing Lifeline and Wraith, if you have 1,500 kills and you're trying to get that to 2,000, do your thing, but sometimes you have to realize that other players will not be able to give you Lifeline or Wraith because they want to play it themselves and they're in the pick order a little higher than you. So now you have to have a choice. I see way too many people starting to get upset, cry, or be mad at the start of a game because I played a character I wanted to play and they're like, that's my main. Dude, if I play a character I want to play and then you become useless or you can't contribute to this team at all, what the hell? You're not a good teammate. You got to step that thing up, man. I would advise all of you to at least have 3 different legends that you are good at, to at least contribute to the fight or understand their mechanics, because if you are a Lifeline main or a Wraith main, so is 80% of the game. I mean, people love those legends, so you're going to get in trouble if you try to only use them, and especially if somebody else picks them first and then you become useless. It's just going to be like, one game's great, one game's bad. One game I'm pissed off or super unlucky. One game I got really lucky and we had a great moment. I don't think that up and down is really fun. It's the nature of BRs, but in this game, you could totally avoid that problem and that mistake to make your effectiveness more consistent throughout each game that you play. And think about it, it's not really easy to say I'm a great Apex Legends player if you do so well on Wraith, but you can't do anything on any other legend, right? Try to diversify. You'll become a better player. You'll be able to play with different friend groups, because I have friends who are Caustic mains, Lifeline mains, Bangalore mains, right? You'll be able to like fit in and everyone will have a good time. So this is one of the things I see starting to get a little like toxic. I've got some people getting mad at me. I just want to nip it in the bud right now in the community. If we can learn some new legends, everyone will benefit, and especially you will. Moving on to the number 4 mistake that I see being made in Apex Legends all the time by players, and it is them not min-maxing their movement while fighting. This is something that I'm going to go into very technically. You're going to get a lot of tips within this one tip, but I'm going to be very straightforward about it because this isn't very conceptual. This is just, here's the information, so buckle in. We're going to rapid fire these bad boys. The first one, there are 3 keys. The first key is weapon swapping mid-fight versus reloading. Try to not reload mid-fight unless you are absolutely undercover. This is one of those things I see a lot of people do. They reload mid-fight out in the open. Go behind cover if you're going to reload. If you do want to continue the fight and stay out in the open, switch weapons. Don't try to reload mid-fight if you have a full magazine of an R301 ready in your alternate weapon slot. Just switch to that, do the damage, and then if you have to reload both weapons, try to holster them, slide behind cover, and reload when you know you're not being shot at. This is super important. I see a lot of beginner players not doing this. Second key, slide and weapon holster while also bringing out your weapon when the slide is done. I've actually rebound my mouse so that I could use 3 on my numpad, and then also go ahead and slide without any weapon, gain that extra movement speed, and when I jump out of that slide, press my mouse button and then bring out my primary weapon. This means that I can essentially gain that movement speed, get around a corner, get around a box, and then jump, change my position onto the enemy so they have to adjust to me, and then bring my weapon out ready to shoot by the time I land. It makes it very efficient, and find the number key and find the situation on your keyboard, your mouse that feels good to you. The point is, use the extra movement speed, don't be afraid to holster your weapons mid-fight, gain some ground, get undercover, and then bring them out once you are safe. The third and final key here to wrap things up is learning how to slide and crouch within a fight. This will make a huge difference because people just missing 1, 2, or even 3 bullets could be the difference between them winning the fight versus you. Sliding in while moving is one of those things that looks really cool and it's not that hard, but it's very daunting for new players to do. So consider it. If someone's behind a box, you've broken their shield, instead of just running up to the side and ADSing, maybe slide in behind them. Change the speed at which they're expecting you to approach. This will give you an advantage because because you know what they're doing, but they don't know what you're doing. All of this will help you just win more gunfights. Consider these tips and also try to apply them in your life however you find comfortable for your mouse, your keyboard, your console setup, whatever it is. Now, the final and one of the most important mistakes I see Apex Legends players continually make in their games is they try to finish fights earlier than they actually need to be finished. This is a battle royale. The one who lasts. It's not even a clever phrase. It's just the truth. If you last longer than the other players, you're gonna win the game. And that's what people sometimes don't realize in the early game. A panic, a frustration, maybe a nervousness takes over them, and I see them just try to get all the enemy threats away. It's like in life where you have so many things piling at you and you're like, let me just handle this and handle this and handle this so I have nothing going on. You can't do that in Apex Legends. You can't kill everyone right away, because most of the time when you do, you essentially just put yourselves in harm's way for a third party to show up and kill you and take all the glory. There's a bunch of aggressive players out there who are like, I hate third parties, bro. But then think about it. There's a bunch of third parties out there who are like, yo, life is good right now. I'm just poaching all these fights. I won the game. I didn't even kill anybody. And you know what? Where's the balance here? I think the balance is that you can be aggressive and be a better player. You apply all of these rules, you avoid these mistakes, you watch some other videos, you play and practice yourself, because that's the most important thing. You diversify your legend pool, you will start to win games much more. But there's a moment where you don't have to go in gung-ho with your horse blinders on. You can consider the options for a second. Finding that balance is what makes a truly great Apex Legends player, not the ones who just W key and not the ones who just stay back and try to snipe and just try to win a game without actually fighting anyone. It's that balance that's truly going to make you a better player, and if you can avoid the mistake of trying to be either one of those and find that middle ground, I think you are going to be dominating lobbies in no time. Again, thank you guys so much for watching this video and supporting. If you do enjoy this, please leave a like and let me know why in the comment section below. Also, if I missed something, leave me a comment. I always read my comments, and I'm super happy to hear your guys' feedback or stuff that maybe I didn't have time to include that you would suggest as a mistake that's really good to avoid for players. Also, if you do enjoy this content, subscribing is the best way to let me know that I should make more of it. When I see those numbers, it absolutely encourages me to do more of what is working on the channel. Remember that also, this is not a PTS reading. This is not me reading you guys a script. This is me trying to bring some personality and some fun. I can't make videos every day, so I do make them a little longer because I like spending more time with you, getting more of my thoughts out there rather than putting out 5-minute videos every single day. So hopefully you guys get with that. I know a lot of you really do enjoy spending the time on the channel, and I do really appreciate it for those who continue to support and join us here at the Rainstorm. As always, my friends, remember to never give up, never stop gaming, and I will see you all next time.